If you're watching this video, it's not by chance. There's an invisible reason that brought you here, a deep search for wisdom, for peace, for purpose. In the next few minutes, you will hear words as ancient as time, yet as alive as your own thoughts. Words that rewire the mind, strengthen the spirit, and reshape the way you see life. This is not just a video, it's an experience, a connection between the divine and the human, between the science of the mind and the wisdom of God. What you're about to hear comes from the wisest book ever written, the book of Proverbs. Each verse was designed to open your mind, soothe your soul, and remind you that within you burns a spark of eternity. So take a deep breath. Let every word sink into your mind like a seed of light. And before we begin, do something for yourself. Follow this page, save this video, and share it with someone you love. Because what's coming next has the power to change your way of thinking. And when you change your mind, you change your destiny. Wisdom does not shout, but her voice echoes in every corner of the soul. The book of Proverbs says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." Not fear, but reverence. The kind of respect that comes when you realize there is divine order in the universe, and that every choice you make is a seed returning multiplied. Solomon writes, "My son, listen to your father's instruction, and do not forsake your mother's teaching. They are a garland to grace your head, and a chain to adorn your neck." In a world full of noise, wisdom hides in silence. It is not found in hurry, nor in the pride of those who think they know it all, but in the heart of those who stop to observe, to listen, to understand. For whoever seeks wisdom seeks God, and whoever finds her finds purpose. In chapter 2, the sage reminds us, "If you call out for insight and cry aloud for understanding, if you seek it as silver and search for it as hidden treasure, then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God." Do you know what that means? That the human mind is designed to expand with every conscious act. Wisdom does not come by luck. It comes when you train your mind to see beyond the immediate. Chapter 3 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." There is no greater neuroscience than faith. When you trust, you silence fear, align your thoughts with peace, and enter coherence with life. Today's message is simple yet eternal. Don't chase wisdom for vanity. Seek it for connection. Because when your mind aligns with truth, the entire universe opens in your favor. Proverbs 4 says, "Listen, my son, to the words of wisdom. Pay attention to my understanding. Keep my commands, for they are life to those who walk in them." Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for from it flows the wellspring of life." The mind is the field where thoughts are planted, and the heart is the soil that makes them bloom. If you feed your mind with wisdom, you harvest clarity. If you fill it with noise, you harvest confusion. Discipline is not punishment, it is protection. It is the training of the soul to choose what is right when what is easy looks tempting. Proverbs 4:14 says, "Do not set foot on the path of the wicked or walk in the way of evildoers. For wisdom does not dwell where pride rules." Proverbs 5 says, "The lips of the forbidden woman drip honey, but in the end she is bitter as wormwood." In modern words, not everything that shines brings peace. Some roads promise pleasure but end in emptiness. The wise mind knows how to wait. The impulsive mind gets trapped by immediacy. Proverbs 6:6 says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise." Modern neuroscience confirms this ancient truth. Repetition and consistent effort create new neural pathways, turning potential into achievement. This is how divine wisdom works. It teaches that both spiritual and material success are born not from impulse, but from discipline guided by purpose. Do not fear routine. Repeat kindness, persist in faith, practice gratitude. Because in every consistent act, God builds your destiny. Proverbs 7 says, "My son, keep my words and treasure my commands within you." In every age, the human heart wrestles between the voice of wisdom and the voice of temptation. One leads to light, the other to the darkness of the soul. The wise do not fear temptation, they understand it. They know that desire without purpose is a flame that consumes. But desire guided by God is a spark that enlightens. Proverbs 8 says, "Does not wisdom call, and does not understanding raise her voice?" On the heights where life's paths cross, wisdom calls out to understanding. Her voice is not of noise, but of clarity. "I love those who love me," says wisdom, "and those who seek me diligently will find me." The human brain responds to love and sincere pursuit. Neuroscience reveals that what you focus on repeatedly, your mind learns to perceive everywhere. So does divine wisdom. It trains you to recognize truth even when the world hides it. Proverbs 9:10 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and knowledge of the Holy One is understanding." In other words, there is no knowledge without humility. Wisdom blooms in the mind that acknowledges its dependence on God. The wise do not claim to know everything. They walk slowly, listen deeply, analyze quietly, and trust the light from above. For wisdom is not imposed, it is revealed. When you choose to listen to her voice, your mind aligns with divine order. Your thoughts find stillness, and peace becomes your new mental frequency. Proverbs 9:12 says, "If you are wise for yourself. If you mock, you alone will bear it." Wisdom does not seek approval, it seeks purpose. And when your purpose is to serve truth, nothing external can extinguish your light. Proverbs 10 says, "A wise son brings joy to his father, but a foolish son brings grief to his mother." From the beginning, wisdom teaches that our actions affect not only ourselves, but those who love us. Proverbs 10:9 says, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Integrity is mental safety. When your thoughts, words, and actions align, your soul lives in coherence, and coherence produces inner peace. Proverbs 10:19 says, "When words are many, sin is not absent, but he who holds his tongue is wise." Words create realities. Neuroscience confirms that every word you speak leaves an electrical trace in your brain and an emotional seed in the heart of the listener. To speak wisely is not to speak much. It is to speak with purpose. Proverbs 11:2 says, "When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom." Wisdom cannot bloom where ego reigns, because ego seeks to be right, but wisdom seeks to understand. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Modern science affirms it. Acts of kindness release dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, the same chemicals that produce happiness. Every generous act blesses you as much as it blesses others. Proverbs 12:1 says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." Learning may hurt, but ignorance destroys. Proverbs 12:25 says, "Anxiety weighs down the heart, but a kind word cheers it up." A kind word can change the course of a day, and an elevated thought can change the course of a life. True wisdom does not seek to shine, it seeks to transform, because every just decision is an investment in your eternal destiny. Proverbs 13:3 says, "He who guards his mouth preserves his life, but he who opens wide his lips shall have destruction." Words are energy. Every sentence you speak has the power to build or destroy. Neuroscience confirms this. The brain does not distinguish between what you say and what you think. Your words program your mind, and your mind shapes your reality. Proverbs 13:11 says, "Dishonest wealth will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." Wisdom teaches that true prosperity is not measured by speed, but by purpose. Everything built with patience endures. Proverbs 14:1 says, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears hers down." This is not only about the physical home, it's about the inner space. We are all builders of our own minds. Every thought is a brick in the house of your soul. Proverbs 14:29 says, "Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who is quick-tempered exalts folly." In modern terms, self-control is emotional intelligence. Every time you choose calmness over reaction, you strengthen your circuits of wisdom. Proverbs 15:1 says, "A gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger." Don't change his destinies. Gentleness is not weakness. It is mastery of the spirit. Proverbs 15:22 says, "Plans fail for lack of counsel, but with many advisors they succeed." Listening is also wisdom. No one grows alone. Even the wise seek guidance. And finally, Proverbs 15:33 says, "The fear of the Lord teaches wisdom, and humility comes before honor." Humility doesn't make you smaller, it makes you deeper. It's the bridge that connects human knowledge with divine understanding. Today's message is simple. Speak with purpose, act with calm, and listen with heart. Because wisdom does not shout, it whispers in the minds of those who learn to hear. Proverbs 16:1 says, "To humans belong the plans of the heart, but from the Lord comes the proper answer of the tongue." We make plans, we dream dreams, but the final direction belongs to God. Wisdom is planning with a human mind and trusting with divine faith. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established." When you surrender your actions to a higher purpose, your mind becomes clear. Neuroscience teaches that faith activates the same areas of the brain as determination. To believe is to build within your mind the pathways of achievement before the outcome exists. Proverbs 16:18 says, "Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall." Pride closes doors that humility opens effortlessly. Proverbs 16:32 says, "Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city." Self-control is the strength of the soul. It's not about controlling the world, it's about mastering yourself. Proverbs 17:22 says, "A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." Today, science confirms this ancient truth. Joy heals the body. Positive emotions strengthen the immune system, and hope rewires the brain for healing. Proverbs 18:4 says, "The words of the mouth are deep waters, but the fountain of wisdom is a bubbling brook." Not every voice deserves your attention. Learn to listen to what nourishes, not what distracts. And finally, Proverbs 18:21 says, "The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit." Every word is a seed that grows in time. Speak with light, think with calmness, decide with wisdom. For a mind aligned with God creates a destiny filled with purpose and peace. 8. Proverbs 19:2 says, "Desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever hurries with his feet misses the way." Don't run after success before you understand your purpose. Speed may bring results, but only wisdom brings direction. Proverbs 19:8 says, "He who gets wisdom loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will find good." Wisdom cannot be bought, it must be cultivated. And those who cultivate it become friends of their own peace. Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." You may have 1,000 plans, but only God's purpose stands when the noise fades. Proverbs 23 says, "It is to one's honor to avoid strife, but every fool is quick to quarrel." Not every battle is worth fighting. True wisdom chooses silence as a strategy and calmness as a victory. Proverbs 27 says, "The righteous walk in integrity. Blessed are their children after them." Integrity is not inherited, it is inspired. Your example teaches more than your words. Proverbs 20:27 says, "The human spirit is the lamp of the Lord that sheds light on one's inmost being." Inside you burns a light that never fades. Science calls it consciousness, God calls it spirit. Proverbs 21:2 says, "A person may think their own ways are right, but the Lord weighs the heart." Do not measure yourself by appearances, but by intention. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." Patience builds fortunes that anxiety destroys. And finally, Proverbs 21:21 says, "Whoever pursues righteousness and love finds life, prosperity, and honor. The wise mind knows that success without compassion is empty. Seek justice, live with purpose, and let God's light guide every step of your path." Proverbs 22:1 says, "A good name is more desirable than great riches. To be esteemed is better than silver or gold." It's not what you have that leaves a mark, but who you are when no one is watching. Character is worth more than any treasure. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." To educate is not to impose, it is to plant. Every seed of love and example you give blooms in the soul of those who observe you. Proverbs 22:11 says, "He who loves a pure heart and whose speech is gracious will have the king for his friend." Purity of intention opens doors that power cannot force. Proverbs 23:4 says, "Do not wear yourself out to get rich. Be wise enough to desist." Wealth without purpose is a burden, not a blessing. True prosperity is the balance between the material and the spiritual. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinks in his heart, so is he." What you think, you become. The mind is the workshop of your destiny. Neuroscience calls it cognitive programming. The Bible calls it faith. Proverbs 23:17 says, "Do not let your heart envy sinners, but be zealous for the fear of the Lord all day." Don't focus on what others have. Focus on what you are building with integrity. Proverbs 24:3 says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established." Every decision you make is a brick in the structure of your future. Proverbs 24:10 says, "If you falter in a time of trouble, how small is your strength." Don't fear hard days. They are the ones that forge your spirit. And finally, Proverbs 24:27 says, "Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house." Wisdom teaches order. First plant, then harvest. First plan, then conquer. Life rewards those who act with purpose, who learn to wait for the right time, and who trust that God never arrives late, he arrives perfect. Proverbs 25:11 says, "A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver." The right words, at the right moment, have the power to transform hearts. It's not just about speaking, it's about sowing harmony through the tongue. Proverbs 25:15 says, "Through patience a ruler can be persuaded, and a gentle tongue can break a bone." Gentleness wins where force fails. Neuroscience confirms it. Calmness activates the rational brain and silences impulsive reaction. Proverbs 25:27 says, "It is not good to eat too much honey, nor is it honorable to seek one's own glory." Humility gives flavor to greatness. He who exalts himself too soon loses what time has not yet tested. Proverbs 26:4 says, "Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him." Not everything deserves a reply. Wisdom chooses silence where emotion wants to speak. Proverbs 26:20 says, "Without wood a fire goes out, without a gossip a quarrel dies down." Peace doesn't always arrive. Sometimes it must be protected. Proverbs 27:1 says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." Live the present with purpose, without fear, without haste, for a well-lived today becomes a blessed tomorrow. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." Wisdom doesn't grow in isolation. We refine each other. True relationships are mirrors that polish the soul. And finally, Proverbs 27:19 says, "As water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart." What you give returns. What you plant in others also blooms in you. For love, humility, and truth are universal languages, and those who speak them never walk alone. Proverbs 28:1 says, "The wicked flee though no one pursues, but the righteous are as bold as a lion." Guilt makes the heart tremble, but truth strengthens the spirit. Those who walk in integrity have nothing to hide. Their peace is their armor. Proverbs 28:13 says, "Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy." Humility doesn't make you weak, it makes you free. Proverbs 29:11 says, "Fools give full vent to their rage, but the wise bring calm in the end." Controlling anger isn't suppressing emotion, it's mastering the mind. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Vision gives life meaning. A mind without purpose wanders. A mind guided by God walks without fear. Proverbs 35 says, "Every word of God is pure. He is a shield to those who take refuge in him." Faith protects more than strength ever could. Proverbs 38 says, "Give me neither poverty nor riches, but give me only my daily bread." True wisdom lives in balance, not in having everything, but in having peace with what you have. And finally, the eternal poem. Proverbs 31:10 says, "A virtuous woman who can find, for her worth is far above rubies. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs at the days to come. She speaks not to complain, but to inspire. She doesn't seek attention, but to leave a legacy. Her wisdom teaches, her kindness guides, and her faith sustains generations." Proverbs 31:30 says, "Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." Beauty fades, essence remains, and so ends the book of eternal wisdom. A reminder that faith is not theory, it's practice. That when the mind and heart unite in God, they become the source of abundance, peace, and purpose. Let this wisdom inspire you to build, to love, and to persevere. For those who walk in light never walk alone.